Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today I'm back in the greenhouse and I wanted to take you guys along while we work on some of these citrus plants. A few of you mentioned in my last video when we moved the citrus plants into the greenhouse, a few of you keenly noticed that the Satsuma mandarin orange plant and our Eureka lemon tree both had some rootstock that needed to be trimmed, and I am fairly new to growing citrus, and so I did not pick up on that. So I had to educate myself by getting a few text as well as scouring the internet, and I learned that you were right. Of course you were right, because a lot of you grow citrus and you have been growing citrus for a while. But I am a reader by nature, so I wanted to read it for myself as well. So I read up on it and I took a lot of your advice, and I'm here to show you today what I learned. So let's start with our Satsuma mandarin orange tree and I'll show you what I learned. First, gloves for sure. I've already cleaned my pruners and I'm going to bring you guys in a little closer so you can see what I'm looking at. If you take a look at this Satsuma mandarin orange tree, you'll notice what are called flying dragon rootstock. These are the rootstock that were used by the growers to help this mandarin orange tree to become more cold hardy and easier to grow in colder climates. But we don't want them in our plant because they'll quickly outgrow and outpace the desired plant that we actually do want. Because while the flying dragon is a citrus, it's not very tasty, and it's not edible or good for consumption, I should say. It's not good for consumption. You can eat it, but it's not good for consumption. So what we're going to do is take our clean clippers and cut those right off right at the base. Now I've waited a little longer than or a lot longer than I should have to do this. Ideally, I should have gotten them when they're small like this, and it wouldn't have been as big of a job, but I didn't, and so it's a much bigger job. Literally, I had more of these flying dragon rootstocks than I had actual citrus branches coming off of this plant. This thing is dangerous. Look at this. This is nuts. It's gotten a hold of my other citrus plant. Yikes. I'm going to, as safely as I can, put these over here. And take them out later. The whole time I'm trying not to get stabbed. I mean, this is just silly. But you don't know what you don't know. Man, my goodness. Is there anything left? Literally, there's still a little bit of the mandarin left, but that is it. That is all that there actually was of the mandarin. That is how much those flying dragon rootstocks had tried to outpace. Oh, see, I almost missed one. Right there. Another little one. Okay. I've got a little bamboo stake here. I'm just gonna prop that up for now. Give that a little support. There. You're all better now. Okay. It looks like I'm going to have to go in and I might need to even get a little closer. And I'm going to keep a close eye on this to make sure that these don't try to grow back or that any new ones don't try to take off. But now that I know better, I'm going to know exactly what to look for to try and give my Satsuma the best fighting chance. Alrighty. Very good. Now it's on to the Eureka. Before I go on to the next plant, I wanted to just give a reminder to clean your clippers off in between plants with a little alcohol. My plants seem healthy, but it's just a good practice to work with clean cutting implements in between pruning. Okay, let's move on. Before we get to our Eureka lemon plant, I wanted to take a quick stop at our improved Meyer lemon plant. This improved Meyer lemon is supposed to be a thornless variety. Imagine my surprise when I started noticing these very large thorns. Well, after learning a little bit more about rootstock and how that has improved variety and hybrid choices in the citrus and hybrid fruit variety markets, I am learning that that is probably not what the grower intended when they made this improved, quote-unquote, improved variety. So since I already have a traditional Meyer lemon right there, I'm going to actually cut those thorned branches away because I think that is the traditional rootstock showing its thorny self. So we'll just go ahead and cut those away and see if we can allow the grower's intended thornless variety to shine through. Now, to be fair, I don't know for how long I will continue this practice, cutting off thorns. Thorned branches on a lemon tree. It seems kind of silly, but since I noticed it, I figured I would give it a whirl. Since I took the time to buy a thornless variety, might as well keep it going for a little while. We'll see what happens. Alrighty, on our Eureka lemon, these aren't flying dragon rootstocks, but these are Trifoliata, or three-leaved rootstock. I believe that's what it translates to. You see how those leaves look different from these leaves? These are the leaves that we want. There's a little bit of nutrient deficiency. Don't worry, I'm going to get in here and fertilize soon. But these leaves are the leaves of the rootstock that was used. And these are the leaves of the desirable scion, or the grafted plant that we want. So these ones will come out. And then this Eureka lemon plant will be allowed to grow as normal. Okay, so a few things that I wanted to mention. I'm doing this in the winter time, but I'm doing this in the winter in a greenhouse that I do have a heater for. I would not do this in the winter time if my trees were planted in the ground and I was still getting frost outside. If they were unprotected, if there wasn't some sort of heat, or if I didn't live in a warm place. I'm in North Carolina, zone 8A, and our temperatures are starting to warm up, but not enough for me to do this if my plants were still outside. So I do keep a heater on at night, and I keep it on fairly low because I do want my plants to start to acclimate when the temperatures are above freezing. But sometimes the temperatures do still dip below freezing, and so I do turn the heater on fairly low just to keep it so it's nice and balmy and relatively warm in here. So that's why I feel comfortable in trimming them back during this time of the year. You might have noticed some yellowing or some spots on some of the leaves. Don't worry, I have a citrus fertilizing video coming soon, and so that's what you can expect next from some of the, if you're interested in more citrus content from me. I am still learning a lot about citrus. I don't know if many of you are new to citrus as well, but it's relatively new for me. I've been gardening for a long time, but citrus is relatively new for me. I did order a lot of books, not a lot, but I ordered a handful of books that were older. I got them from an online thrift store, so they are all written in the 80s. And I felt confident that they were not generated by AI, so that made me feel a little bit better. And I also got information from you guys, as I mentioned before, and other YouTubers as well online. And I put all of that information together, and I felt confident in disseminating information back to you guys with what I showed you today. So hopefully my little guys will start to perk up and do what they're supposed to do, and will continue to grow and produce more fruit, and we'll keep learning and growing together. So you guys go and have a beautiful, beautiful day or night wherever you are. Bye bye, everybody.